In a vast galaxy filled with bright stars and powerful empires, the Galactic Empire stood at the top, ruling with an iron fist. Their ships were huge, armed with the latest technology. No one dared to challenge them. They believed they were invincible. But hidden among the stars, a small human ship named the Vanguard was about to change everything. The Vanguard was not much to look at. It was a small vessel, about the size of a cargo ship. Its hull was scratched and worn, a testament to countless journeys across the galaxy. But inside, it was a different story. The ship was equipped with state-of-the-art technology, created by the best human minds. Its crew, though few in number, were brave and determined. They were ready to face the might of the Galactic Empire. Captain Sarah Reynolds stood on the bridge, looking out at the starry expanse. She was a strong leader with a fierce spirit. Her short brown hair framed her face, and her eyes sparkled with determination. She knew the risks of their mission, but also understood the importance of what they were about to do. The Empire had been expanding its territory, threatening human colonies. If they continued unchecked, humanity could face extinction. "All right, team," Sarah called out, her voice steady. "We have received a distress signal from Colony Alpha. The Empire is attacking! We need to gather intel and figure out their plans." Her crew, made up of a diverse group of skilled individuals, nodded in agreement. There was Mike, the ship's pilot, known for his quick reflexes and sharp instincts. Then there was Aisha, the engineer, who could fix anything with just a few tools. Lastly, there was Tom, the navigator, who had a knack for finding the safest routes through enemy territory. Together, they formed a strong bond, like a family. As the Vanguard moved through the dark reaches of space, tension filled the air. They navigated through the hidden pathways that only humans knew about, hoping to avoid detection by the Empire's patrols. Sarah's heart raced, knowing they were heading into danger, but she felt a sense of purpose. This was their chance to prove that humanity could stand up to the Empire. Suddenly, the ship's alarm blared. "Captain, we've detected an Empire fleet nearby," Mike shouted, his hands flying over the controls. "Are they on to us?" Sarah asked, her voice calm but urgent. "Not yet, but they will be soon if we don't act fast." "All right, we need to get closer to Colony Alpha. We'll gather as much intel as we can," Sarah decided. "Let's move quickly!" The crew worked together like a well-oiled machine. Aisha monitored the ship's systems, ensuring everything was running smoothly, while Tom plotted their course to the colony. Mike piloted the ship, deftly maneuvering through asteroid fields to avoid detection. Their hearts raced with excitement and fear as they entered the Empire's territory. As they approached Colony Alpha, the sight that met their eyes was chilling. Massive Imperial ships loomed over the colony, firing upon it relentlessly. Sarah's heart sank. The Empire was merciless, destroying everything in their path. She felt a surge of anger and determination. They could not allow this to continue. "Look!" Tom pointed at a small escape pod shooting away from the colony. "Someone's trying to get out." "Let's go!" Sarah commanded. "We have to help them!" The Vanguard swooped down, and Mike expertly maneuvered the ship to intercept the escape pod. They opened the hatch and pulled in a frightened colonist, a young woman named Elara who was gasping for breath. "Thank you for saving me," Elara cried, tears in her eyes. They were destroying everything. "We have to stop them!" Sarah's resolve hardened. "We will stop them," she promised. "But we need to gather information first. We're going to find out what the Empire is planning, and then we'll strike back." As the Vanguard soared away from the chaos, the crew felt a mix of fear and excitement. They were small, but their spirit was unbreakable. They knew they were up against the mightiest fleet in the galaxy, but in that moment, they felt a spark of hope. They were ready to fight back for their future. With determination in their hearts, the crew of the Vanguard prepared for the challenges ahead. They would show the galaxy that even the smallest ship could change the tide of war. The underdogs were ready to rise. The Vanguard glided through the stars, a tiny speck in the vastness of space. Captain Sarah Reynolds stood on the bridge, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and excitement. They had saved Elara, but now they had a new mission, to sneak into the heart of the Galactic Empire and gather crucial information about their plans. The fate of humanity rested on their shoulders. "All right, team," Sarah began, addressing her crew. "We need to be careful. The Empire's patrols are everywhere. If they catch us, it could mean disaster." Mike, the pilot, nodded. "I've been tracking their patrol routes. We can use the asteroid belt to hide our approach. It will slow us down a bit, but it's the safest way. Aisha, the engineer, added, I'll keep the engines quiet and low. We can't risk making any noise. If they hear us, we're done for. With a plan in place, the Vanguard entered the asteroid belt. The ship maneuvered carefully between the massive rocks, each one a potential threat. They could hear the thudding of their hearts in the silence, the tension palpable. Every bump felt magnified in the stillness of space. As they moved deeper into the belt, Tom, the navigator, scanned the screens for enemy ships. I see them! He shouted, pointing at the monitor. 2 Imperial cruisers are patrolling ahead. They're close, but we can slip by if we stay low. Steady, everyone, Sarah urged, her eyes focused on the screen. Mike, cut the speed to half. We can't let them notice us. The crew held their breath as Mike adjusted the controls. The ship slowed, gliding silently through the shadows of the asteroids. The cruisers passed nearby, their powerful engines roaring as they moved on, unaware of the Vanguard's presence. Now's our chance, Sarah whispered, excitement creeping into her voice. Keep moving, Mike. Let's get closer to their base. They carefully navigated out of the asteroid belt, emerging into open space. In front of them loomed a massive Imperial space station, its sleek design gleaming under the light of distant stars. It was a fortress, filled with enemy soldiers and advanced technology. Wow, Elara gasped, her eyes wide. I've never seen anything like it. They have so much power. It's impressive, but we have to focus, Sarah reminded her. We need to gather intel on their plans. We'll get in and out before they even know we were there. As they approached the station, Aisha worked on the ship's systems, making sure everything was running smoothly. I've patched into their security feeds, she announced. We can see what's happening inside. But we need to be quick. They might notice the signal. Sarah nodded, her heart racing. Let's see what we can find. The screens flickered to life, showing bustling activity inside the space station. Soldiers in their dark uniforms moved in and out, and the sounds of their voices echoed in the background. Sarah felt a shiver run down her spine. This was the heart of the Empire, a place where they plotted against humanity. There! Look! Tom pointed at the screen, his eyes wide. They're discussing a major attack on human colonies. They plan to strike tomorrow. Tomorrow? Sarah echoed, panic rising in her chest. We don't have much time. We need to figure out how to stop them. Aisha's fingers flew over the controls. I can disable their communication systems. If we cut off their ability to call for reinforcements, it will buy us some time. Do it! Sarah ordered. But we have to be quick. Once we start this, they'll be looking for us. With a few deft moves, Aisha hacked into the station's systems. The screens flickered again, showing lines of code and security feeds. I'm in, she exclaimed. I'm disabling their communications now. Just as Aisha finished, an alarm blared through the station. What happened? Mike shouted, eyes wide with fear. They must have detected the hack, Aisha said, her voice tense. We need to get out of here now! Everyone, brace yourselves, Sarah shouted as Mike slammed the engines into full throttle. The Vanguard shot away from the station, narrowly escaping the incoming fire from the angry Imperial guards. As they fled into space, Sarah felt a rush of adrenaline. They had gathered crucial information and survived an encounter with the Empire. The odds were against them, but they had shown they could fight back. Great work, everyone, Sarah cheered, her heart swelling with pride. We did it! Now we just have to plan our next move. In that moment, they knew they were no longer just a small crew. They were part of something bigger. They were humans, rising against the Galactic Empire, ready to change the course of history. The Vanguard zoomed through the darkness of space, the crew still buzzing with excitement after their narrow escape. Captain Sarah Reynolds stood at the helm, her mind racing with the information they had just gathered. The Empire was planning a massive attack on human colonies, and they had to act fast. All right, team, Sarah said, her voice steady but filled with urgency. We have to sabotage their plans. If we can disrupt their operations, we might save the colonies. Aisha, the engineer, nodded. I can work on a virus to infect their systems. If I can get it into their computers, we can shut down their weapons and defenses. Good idea, Sarah replied. But we need to get closer to the space station. We'll need to use stealth to avoid being detected again. Tom, the navigator, chimed in. I can plot a course that will keep us hidden from their patrols. We can approach from the dark side of the station where they have less surveillance. Mike, the pilot, added, Let's move quickly. We don't have much time before they realize we're missing. As they plotted their course, Sarah felt a surge of determination. They were small, but they were not powerless. With their combined skills, they could fight back against the Empire. After a few tense minutes, they reached a point where they could sneak around the space station without being seen. Mike skillfully piloted the ship, keeping it low and out of sight. The massive structure loomed ahead, casting a long shadow across the stars. "Remember, we need to be quiet," Sarah reminded everyone. "If we attract attention, we won't get a second chance." Aisha quickly gathered her tools and prepared to work on her virus. "I'll need access to their systems, but it's risky. If they catch me, they'll shut me down for sure. Just focus on getting in and out," Sarah encouraged. "We believe in you." With Tom guiding them through the patrol routes, they found a small service entrance at the back of the station. Mike brought the Vanguard in close, and Aisha connected the ship's systems to the station's network. "I'm in," Aisha exclaimed, her fingers flying over the keyboard. "Now let's get to work." As she began to upload her virus, the screens in front of her filled with lines of code. Sweat dripped from her brow as she concentrated. The room was silent, every crew member holding their breath, hoping she would succeed. Suddenly, an alarm blared through the station. "What happened?" Tom shouted, panic in his voice. "I don't know. They must have noticed us," Aisha replied, her voice shaking. "I have to hurry." "Mike, get ready to move," Sarah shouted. "We may have to leave at any moment." "Almost done," Aisha said, her fingers flying faster. She focused on the screen, her heart racing. Just as she was about to finish, the station's security systems went into high alert. Red lights flashed everywhere, and the sound of boots echoed in the halls. "We need to go now," Mike shouted, gripping the controls. "They're sending reinforcements." Aisha clicked the final command just in time. "Done! The virus is uploaded?" "Great! Let's get out of here," Sarah ordered. Mike hit the throttle, and the Vanguard shot away from the station. Just as they broke free, blasts of energy lit up the darkness behind them. Imperial ships were chasing them, their cannons firing in anger. "Hold on!" Mike yelled, navigating through the chaos. He twisted the ship, dodging enemy fire as they raced through the asteroid belt once again. "Tom, where should we go?" Sarah asked, her heart pounding. "Head to the outer ring of the asteroid field," Tom shouted. "It's our best chance to lose them." The crew worked together, each person playing their part. Mike's hands moved swiftly over the controls, guiding the Vanguard through narrow gaps between the asteroids. Aisha monitored their systems, keeping track of the ship's status while readying the engines for a quick jump to hyperspace. Tom watched the scanners for enemy ships, calling out warnings as they approached. With a final twist and turn, they escaped the immediate danger. But they knew it wasn't over yet. The Empire would not give up easily. "Status report," Sarah demanded, her voice firm. "We took some hits, but the ship is still operational," Aisha replied, glancing at the controls. "I can patch up any damage, but we need to find a safe place to hide." "We have to find a way to regroup," Sarah said, her eyes scanning the stars. "We can't let them catch us again." "Look over there!" Tom pointed to a small moon nearby, shrouded in shadows. "We can hide there for a while. It should keep us out of sight until we can plan our next move." "Let's do it," Sarah agreed. The Vanguard turned toward the moon, and as they settled into the shadow of its surface, relief washed over the crew. They had survived another close call, and now they had a moment to breathe. In the silence of their hiding place, they realized that the real fight was just beginning. They had struck a blow against the Empire, but they needed to be smarter and stronger. Together, they would prepare for the battles ahead, united in their cause to protect their home. The underdogs were ready to take on the Empire. The Vanguard lay hidden in the shadow of the moon, its crew taking a moment to catch their breath. Captain Sarah Reynolds stared out at the stars, her mind racing. They had just uploaded a virus that would disrupt the Empire's plans, but the fight was far from over. They needed a solid plan to ensure their efforts weren't in vain. "All right, team," Sarah said, turning to her crew. "We've made a good start, but we need to prepare for what's coming next. The Empire will be furious, and they won't stop searching for us." Mike, the pilot, nodded. "They'll want revenge. We should find a way to strike at their command center. If we can take out their leadership, it might slow down their entire fleet." Aisha, the engineer, chimed in. "I can work on another virus, one that targets their command systems directly, but we'll need a way to get close to their main base." "Tom, can you gather intel on their defenses?" Sarah asked. "We need to know what we're up against." Tom focused on the monitors, pulling up maps of the Empire's command center. They have multiple layers of security, drones, guards, and automated turrets. It won't be easy to get in, but we have to try, Sarah insisted. We're not just fighting for ourselves. We're fighting for all of humanity. We need to give them hope. With the crew in agreement, they spent the next few hours planning their assault. Aisha worked on the new virus while Mike and Tom plotted their route. The atmosphere was tense, but they felt a surge of determination. As night fell on the moon, they prepared the vanguard for their mission. Sarah gave a final speech to boost morale. "This is it, everyone. We may be outnumbered, but we're not outmatched. We have heart, and we have each other. Let's show the Empire what humans can do." The crew cheered, feeling the weight of their mission but also the strength of their unity. With the plan set, they launched from the moon and made their way toward the Empire's command center. The stars flew by as Mike piloted the vanguard, keeping it low and out of sight of patrols. The tension was thick in the air as they approached the enemy base, a massive fortress orbiting a distant planet. "There it is," Tom said, pointing at the command center. "That's where we need to go." "Get ready," Sarah said, her voice steady. "Aisha, upload the virus as soon as we're inside. We need to act fast." As they neared the command center, Mike's heart raced. "I see some patrols in the area," he reported. "We'll have to wait for the right moment to slip through." The crew waited, watching the Imperial ships fly by. Finally, an opening appeared. "Now, let's go!" Sarah shouted. The vanguard darted toward the entrance, slipping past the guards. Aisha quickly connected their systems to the command center's network as they flew through the dimly lit hallways. The ship's engines hummed quietly, blending into the background noise of the base. "Almost there," Aisha said, her fingers dancing across the controls. "Just a little more to go and I can upload the virus." Suddenly, alarms blared. Red lights flashed throughout the base. "They've spotted us!" Tom shouted. "We need to move. Mike, take us to the main control room," Sarah ordered, her heart pounding. "We can't let them stop us now!" With quick reflexes, Mike maneuvered the vanguard through narrow passages, dodging enemy fire as they raced toward their target. They could hear the roar of engines behind them as Imperial ships scrambled to intercept them. "Hang on!" Mike shouted, pulling the ship into a sharp turn. They narrowly avoided a barrage of laser blasts that streaked past them. "Get ready, Aisha!" Sarah called. "We need that virus uploaded before they catch up." "I'm almost there!" Aisha replied, her face a mask of concentration. "Just a few more seconds." The vanguard shot into the main control room, a vast chamber filled with screens and consoles. Sarah could see the chaos outside as Imperial ships tried to surround them. "Now, Aisha!" Sarah shouted. Aisha hit the final key, and the virus began to upload. The screens flickered as the system struggled against the onslaught of the virus. "It's working!" Aisha yelled, excitement in her voice. "It's shutting down their defenses!" Suddenly, the main doors exploded open. A squad of Imperial soldiers stormed in, weapons raised. "Get down!" Sarah shouted. The crew dove for cover as blaster fire erupted in the control room. "We can't hold them off forever," Mike yelled. "Keep fighting!" Sarah shouted back. "We're almost there!" Aisha continued to work on the virus, sweat trickling down her brow. The lights dimmed and the screens began to go dark as the virus spread. The soldiers shouted orders, but the confusion was palpable. "Almost finished!" Aisha cried, her voice rising above the chaos. With a final burst of effort, the last lines of code flashed across the screen, and the command center's systems went dark. "Now let's get out of here!" Sarah shouted, rallying her crew. They scrambled back to the vanguard, dodging blaster fire as they ran. With the control room in disarray, they had a small window to escape. "Move, move, move!" Sarah urged, adrenaline pumping through her veins. They leaped into the ship, and Mike quickly powered up the engines. The vanguard shuddered as it took off, racing through the chaos outside. "Goodbye, Empire," Sarah shouted, a smile spreading across her face. As they flew away, the crew knew they had struck a significant blow against the Empire. They were still alive, and they were ready to keep fighting for their freedom. Together, they had faced the Empire, and they would continue to rise against it. The vanguard soared through the stars, leaving behind the chaos of the Empire's command center. Captain Sarah Reynolds sat in the cockpit, her heart still racing from the recent fight. The ship's systems hummed around her, but her mind was focused on the mission ahead. They had dealt a blow to the Empire, but the war was far from over. "Status report, Aisha," Sarah called, her eyes scanning the starry sky ahead. Aisha, still catching her breath, turned to her console. The virus is spreading through their systems. They're struggling to regain control. "We did it, Sarah! We really did it!" "Let's not celebrate yet, Mike," the pilot interjected. "The Empire won't take this lightly. We need to get somewhere safe." "Right," Sarah agreed. "Set a course for the asteroid belt. We can hide there while we regroup and figure out our next move." As Mike adjusted the ship's course, Tom, the intelligence officer, piped up from the back. "We've just sent a message to the Resistance. They need to know what we accomplished today. If we can unite everyone, we might stand a chance against the Empire." "Good thinking, Tom," Sarah replied. "We're not alone in this fight. It's time to bring everyone together." Hours passed as they navigated through the asteroid belt. The vast rocks floated silently in space, creating a perfect hiding spot. The crew worked tirelessly to repair the Vanguard and monitor the Empire's response. Each member of the crew understood the weight of their actions. They had sparked a flicker of hope in the darkness. As they floated in the shadows of the asteroids, Sarah gathered her crew. "We've shown the Empire that we're not just helpless underdogs. We can fight back, and we have allies who will join us. But we need a plan." "Let's strike hard and fast," Mike suggested. "We can target their supply lines. If we cut off their resources, they'll struggle to maintain their power." Tom nodded. "And we can spread the word about our success. More people will join us if they see that we can win." "I love it," Sarah said, her eyes sparkling with determination. "Aisha, can you help us design a campaign to disrupt their logistics? We need to hit them where it hurts." "Absolutely," Aisha replied. "I can develop a new set of viruses that can target their cargo ships and supply bases." The crew worked late into the night, planning their next steps and designing their strategy. They felt a sense of purpose that had been absent for so long. The Galactic Empire, once a terrifying force, now seemed more vulnerable than ever. Finally, as dawn broke across the distant stars, Sarah stood up, feeling a renewed sense of hope. "It's time to act. We are humanity's last line of defense. We'll show them that we won't back down." With the crew ready, they launched the Vanguard into action. As they left the asteroid belt, the stars shone brightly ahead, symbolizing the new dawn for humanity. They had faced incredible odds and emerged stronger, but the battle was just beginning. Their first target was an Empire supply ship, heavily guarded but vulnerable. "We can't attack head-on," Tom warned. "We need to use stealth and surprise." "Let's set up an ambush," Mike suggested. "We can hide in the debris field and wait for them to pass." They maneuvered the Vanguard into position, blending in with the scattered rocks and debris. The crew's hearts raced with anticipation. Each second felt like an eternity as they waited for the Empire's ship to arrive. Finally, the supply ship came into view, gliding slowly through the debris field. Sarah's voice was calm but firm. "Now everyone, let's show them what we're made of." With quick precision, they launched a barrage of laser fire, targeting the engines of the supply ship. The Empire crew scrambled in confusion, alarms blaring as they tried to respond. Aisha's fingers danced across the controls as she activated her newly developed virus. "Uploading now! This should shut down their systems!" The supply ship's lights flickered as the virus took hold. The crew of the Vanguard cheered, feeling the adrenaline rush through them. They were winning! The supply ship was unable to escape as the Vanguard's crew continued their assault. With one final blow, the enemy ship exploded into a brilliant fireball, lighting up the darkness of space. "We did it!" Mike shouted, elated. "Let's gather what we can," Sarah said, focusing on the mission. "We need to send a message to the Empire that we're not backing down." As they salvaged what they could, Sarah realized this was just the beginning. The crew of the Vanguard had ignited a fire within humanity. They were no longer just fighting for survival, they were fighting for their future. A new dawn had indeed broken for humanity. The stars above shimmered like beacons of hope, and Sarah knew they would continue to fight, united and unyielding, against the mighty Galactic Empire. Together they would rise to the challenge, proving that even the smallest ship could change the course of history.